Great pleasure right now to welcome a man who'll be premiering his new talk show coming up on several stations around the country on Fox TV, of course, right here in Tampa on WTBT Channel 13 on July 11th, starting at 11 a.m. We're joined by Father Albert Cutie. It's going to be a talk show featuring a single topic each day. We'll find out all about it right now as he joins us by telephone. How are you, Father Albert?
Great to be with you, Doug.
Congratulations on the talk show. I know you've made a lot of appearances on TV, of course, on radio, and written your advice column, but a bit of a departure for you now to do a daily show for a while, right?
A daily show in English, because I did a daily show for about 3 years in Spanish television, and then I did weekly for another.
Right.
It was a total of about 11 years. So I'm familiar with television, with radio, and with press, but this is the first time I'll be doing it in English, and I'm very happy to be able to do it.
Well, what's the process for you now? I mean, obviously a weekly show is a little different than a daily. I know it well from doing it in the radio. It's a lot less preparation time, so I guess the hour's a little bit longer, right?
The hours are longer. Certainly the topics are fascinating because the focus of the show is to deal with people's dilemmas.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes this program a little different than the things I did in the past is that this in a way goes a step further than a traditional talk show. We want for people to come on with those most difficult dilemmas that people face in life, and hopefully by the end of the show they can find a resolution, a way to kind of continue looking at their lives in a new direction, and hopefully overcome whatever obstacles are not allowing them to resolve the dilemma.
Will you have one or two people on for an entire show, or you can have several people with the same kind of dilemma?
2 or 3 different cases, but sometimes, if it's a very, very intense case, as in the case of some of the shows that we've already done now, sometimes it's just 2, for example, and other times it ends up being 3. It really depends. Sometimes when you start the talk show, you think the person with the dilemma is the one that needs the most help, and then you realize it's the family members that come on with them that really need the help. So, everything has twists and turns, and that's what life is about, and that's what this talk show will be about.
What are some of the topics, if you can give 1 or 2 away, that you've talked about so far? If you can.
We've talked about the issues of addiction, people who feel betrayed by family members, people who reveal great big family secrets, that on the internet, for example. We've dealt with issues that have to do with moms and daughters that all of a sudden become estranged because of an incident. They haven't talked to each other for a couple of years, and then they come on the show for the first time and then just begin to face the issues that have been keeping them apart. So it's exciting stuff.
Do you tape it in front of a live audience, Father? Or?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's live on tape.
So that always gives a different dynamic when you have the audience there, doesn't it?
It's a big difference, and it's also interesting that people do interact in this show a lot more than what we're seeing in today's typical talk shows, where a lot of the talk shows, the people are just there to kind of applaud. In this case, they are going to interact with the guests.
They'll have a chance to ask questions and or make comments.
That's right. Ask questions, make their comments, sometimes make their judgments. Unfortunately, I always say that I'm not there to judge people because we have a lot of judging shows. But certainly, the people in the audience do have a very definite opinion about what these people do. And I like to be the person that kind of brings, if you will, some of those solutions together without all the judgment. I think what people need is a forum where they can just speak their mind and their heart and say whatever they really want to say without having to be afraid of being judged harshly. And at least that's what I think I could provide to the whole talk show genre.
I think I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with the judge shows, but it seems like there's about 50 of them. I think you want people on like yourself that provide some, you want it to be entertaining, of course, but you want some helpful information as well. I think a lot of the talk shows, not to name any in particular, but they go out of the way just to be sensationalistic. But I think your show, at least from reading about it and talking to you, is not going to be that type of show. You want it to be compelling, but I'm gathering that's not what you're looking for, though.
That's not what we're looking for. You're certainly right. And one of the things that's interesting is I think, we have the ability to entertain connected and to make something controversial without exploiting a person's problem. I really do believe that. I've seen it in the past, and I've seen it with very successful shows like Oprah and other shows, Phil Donahue in the past, and others that really were able to kind of strike that balance. That's what I would like to do. I would like to strike that balance between the guests, the people coming on with the problems. Some of the issues, obviously, that they deal with in front of a priest may be different than what they do with a Dr. Ross, a Dr. Phil, or even an Oprah, you know, and I think that's what's interesting about the dilemma, that there are dilemmas, there are issues that people will present on this show that will be unique to this type of show.
Do you find, I mean, as a priest, you've heard confessionals, I mean, are people a little more open? Have you found doing these shows, knowing you're a priest, a little more comfortable talking to you?
People do talk about things because of the outfit, you know, because the fact that they know you are a man of the cloth, regardless of whether it's a rabbi, a priest, a minister. I just think that when people come to someone who is a religious leader, they have a tendency either to express their bitterness towards, you know, their early childhood upbringing, or to be more open to it. And I find that in most cases, people are more open, and they have a sense of, you know, this person can really help me, this person is concerned for me. I think what people will find in this show is that, you know, there will be concern for the individual and the person that comes with the problem.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to approach it. Where do you tape the show, Father? In Tampa, or?
We're taping in New York right now.
Okay.
During this test period, yes.
And what is it, a 6-week run?
Miami, but I'm a parish priest in North Miami, but I'm taping during this short test period here in New York.
Is that how long is the run for? Just for the summer?
It is well, on the air itself, I believe it's like 5 weeks.
5 weeks, okay.
About 20, yeah, it's about 22 shows. Yeah.
And then obviously, at the end of that, possibility of being picked up in the future, right, as a regular show.
To then go all over to all the markets, yes.
Great. I know it's right now. It's going to be on not just in Tampa, but Channel 5 in New York, L.A., also Dallas, and Phoenix, in addition to Tampa, also Minneapolis. So those are great markets to kind of make an impression on.
That's right. No, and I've already had the privilege of speaking to people there, and actually every week we talk about different dilemmas in the morning. I don't know if you've been able to watch it there in Tampa, but what I find is that there's great interest in it. And even through Facebook.com/Father Albert, we've been receiving people's dilemmas. And some of the dilemmas we've been receiving, we've been dealing with them on the morning news shows. So it's been really a great jump start, if you will, to what we're going to do with the show.
And of course, again, for people not aware, a few of our listeners may not know, Father Albert has his book out, just not recently published, right? A Priest's Struggle with Faith and Love. That came out not too long ago, didn't it?
Yeah, Dilemma actually is the name of it.
Dilemma, I'm sorry, right? That's the main part.
Well, but yeah, no, that you did say the subtitle properly. It's Dilemma. You know, the funny thing about it is my dilemma was so publicized, and it made international headlines,
right.
And I guess it had a lot to do with my former media work. But the truth of the matter is that when I think about dealing with people's dilemmas, which is something that I did as a priest and as a talk show and radio host for years, and especially my advice columns. I wrote 6 advice columns a week, or for almost 10 years, 6 advice columns a week. So I would venture to say that, you know, after writing the book Dilemma, a lot of people said, you know, well, this is the first time we see Father Albert dealing with his personal dilemma. Because I dealt with other people's dilemmas for so long, and this is what we want to do with this talk show, is deal with people's dilemmas head on and tell them, you know what, I resolved my dilemma, you can resolve yours, you know, don't be afraid.
Yeah, I think that gives people more comfort knowing you've been through something difficult yourself, and it makes people feel more comfortable to talk to you. I think that helps.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, the show starts on Channel 13 in Tampa, coming up on July 11th at 11 a.m. Weekdays. So, Father Albert, we appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you're doing a lot of press and media for this, but we look forward to talking to you again, and good luck on the show, and we hope it'll be picked up soon.
Thank you so much, Doug.